Hello! So, this video is going to be a little bit different from what I usually do because this is going to be a tutorial but on my camera. So I get a lot of questions about what camera I use for filming, what camera I use for taking blog photos, how do I use it, and I think if you are a first time user of a DSLR, it can be a little bit confusing on what settings you need to have it on and, you know, just general formats and all that electronic-y technology stuff that most of us normal people don't usually know. The internet is a wonderful place where you can basically find out what settings you need everything on and what kind of lenses you need and things like that, but sometimes it's easier to just watch one little video and just know what to do. So if you do have a Canon 600D, well, I think pretty much any Canon camera, I think they're generally all the same kind of settings and stuff. So I'm going to show you what settings I have my camera on to film my YouTube videos like this one, what lenses I have, and basically you can just copy what settings I have to get the same effect, or you can just have a mess about as well because it depends on your lighting and your setting and all that jazz. So I will hand you over to, well, me in the past, because I filmed that the other day, and I'm going to show you basically my camera. So good luck. Hello! So this is my beautiful Canon 600D camera, and basically I have a little Rode mic that I put on the top, an external mic, my 50mm lens which I have on here at the moment. It's just a little teeny tiny lens, and the one I use the most for YouTube is actually the 18 to 55mm lens that comes standard with the Canon 600D, because my dorm room is quite small, so this actually works better than the 50mm, because the 50mm I can't really zoom out, so this one is a lot better to use if you're in a small area. And then you just want to put it onto the movie function and then switch it on, which is like the little dial on top. And then we can bring up the menu by pressing the menu button, and this is all the settings that you can change. There's not actually that much you need to change, there's just a few that may want tweaking slightly. So the first one is the movie record size. If you want to record in HD, you want to try and put it on to either 1920 1080, either 25 frames per second or 24 frames per second, so it's like the first two options that you have, so you can choose between either of those. They'll give you pretty much the same results anyway. And then the next thing is the sound. If you do have an external mic, which is always good to get if you have a DSLR, you want it on manual if you have an external mic, of course, and then set the record level. So if you do have a Rode mic like I do, you want to push that little knobbly thing, I don't really know what to call it, slider, to the very, very end, and then push the right button twice, and that will set the record level pretty much spot on for your Rode mic. And then the exposure, easy peasy, just keep it on 0 and you should pretty much be fine unless you're in a really dark area. And then the next thing I want to show you is this menu. When you go back onto your record screen, you press Q, you can go into this little screen which is like your white balance, and you can choose which white balance to have. I mean, I always keep mine on auto because it's pretty much, it works every time. And then the rest should already be set for you. There's not much I've actually changed on here, it's pretty much all the same, but you should be able to see what settings they're on anyway if you do want to change yours to exactly like mine. And the next one is the AV. So this, I'm not going to go into what all the numbers mean because I honestly have no idea what some of them mean. If you are filming in a particularly dark area, this little wheelie bit at the end will change these numbers down here. And as you can see, as it goes up, it gets darker and darker. And then as you go down, it gets lighter and lighter. So if you're filming in a dark area, this is really good just to lighten it up and let a bit more light into the camera so it's not quite as dark. But you can also, if you hold down the AV button and twist the little twister slidey, what the hell is it called? Wheel? The wheel. Twist the wheel. And then that changes these numbers down here. I honestly have no idea what those numbers mean. I'm not going to pretend like I know, because I have no idea. But that basically makes it lighter or darker as well. So if you are in a really dark area and the other numbers don't work, you can always try this, and this should work as well. And that basically is that to make it lighter or darker. And then moving on to the Rode mic, if you do have a Rode mic of course, you switch it on, and then underneath you have either -10, 0 or +20, and I keep mine on +20 because this works really well with the settings that I've just put in my camera. So that was my tutorial on how I use my Canon 600D or Rebel TTI. I think it's a TTI or TI? TDI? Rebel something if you are in the US and you have a US version of this camera. And I hope that was helpful to at least one person, because otherwise it's a very pointless video. So I hope you gain some sort of knowledge from that video, and I will see you next week for another video. So goodbye.